And Marlon, you at home? Where you at right now? You in the city? I said, yeah, I'm here. He was like, well, man, we got a practice squad spot available on our roster. I'm like, wait, what? You know how you don't hyperventilate, but you kind of like
right.
I'm like, wait, what's going on? And in my mind, he said, could you get to the facility in the next hour?
Watch me.
Yo, let me show you how crazy this was. This was dangerous, scary, and I could have went to jail. From Woodmere, I was going at least 100 up Barracks area. I was running lights and everything. Yeah. I got on the bridge. Boom! I dropped off on the Earhart, and in my mind while I'm speeding, I'm like, if the police pull me over, I'm going to tell them that I have a workout with the Saints.
Right.
And I felt like, in my mind, I'm playing all of this. Yeah. That cop going to get in front of me and go drive. You feel me? Because that's the energy that was in the city at the time.
It was.
The Saints could potentially win the first Super Bowl. You know, that was the energy.
Yo, what's up? This is the Evergreen Podcast. We're back again. This is the Evergreen Podcast. We call it the Evergreen Podcast because what we talk about stays evergreen all year long. We might talk about current events, but everything is always something that's relevant. No matter when you're hearing this, you can hear this 20 years from now, and it's still going to be relevant. My name is DM. I got my co-host here, Dante. What up, Dante?
What up?
How you feeling today? You good?
Feeling good, man.
Feeling good, man. All right, man. You like you're feeling good. Doug, what's up? My other co-host, Doug, what's good, baby?
Man, I'm feeling good, baby.
You feeling good, baby?
Feeling good, baby.
We out here. And we have a special guest tonight. We're going to let Doug introduce our special guest and bring him on in on the pod. First time on the Evergreen Pod. Tell him what it is, Doug.
Man, I'm so excited about this guest, man. He hails from the West Bank, which is the best bank, Harvey, Louisiana, an alumni of West Jefferson High School.
West Jeff.
5-star recruit.
Yes, sir.
U.S. Army All-American out of high school.
Okay.
A national champion of 2007 on LSU football team.
Okay.
A Super Bowl champion of the Saints of 2009.
You heard?
He's a business owner.
You heard?
A sports broadcaster, a trainer, an entertainer. Oh, and he has been in movies as well.
Yes, sir.
One of my great friends, a great person, great people, great to be around. And that's my main man, Marlon, Big Favorite, better known as Hello Somebody.
Give it up.
Talk to me, Fave. What's up, baby?
Give it up. I got the right button this week, y'all. Hit the right button for the applause, man. What's good?
I can tell y'all one thing, fellas. That was one heck of an intro by Dougie. I forget we call him Dougie sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Dougie's fresh. Talk about I like it.
Humble. That's it, man. Yeah, man. We appreciate you coming on, man. And we just we about to shoot it, man. So we want to talk a little bit, man. I'm going to let Doug kind of lead off a little bit and ask a couple questions, and we just going to jump in and just kind of flow with it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, Faye, man, I just want to start back to your West Jeff days and that whole process of going from West Jefferson High School, being a parade All-American, a 5-star recruit, probably the top 3 defensive tackle in the country.
Sheesh.
And then transitioning to LSU. How was the whole process coming from high school and then transitioning to LSU?
Well, it's funny y'all talk about that because earlier today I was at my son's game, their scrimmage. He plays for De La Salle this is a senior year at a wide receiver punter, and they played against West Jeff. So it was at my home a lot of the day.
Full circle.
It was, that transition, it wasn't an easy one, right? Because when I first got there, Coach Saban was there. So Coach Saban, as y'all can still see, he has a very strict way of doing things, and it works. So I can but he's 100, y'all. He's 100. This was Derry's senior year in high school, right? So he hadn't got to LSU with me yet. And I can remember him coming up to me, and he was like, hey, Marlon, we have enough depth on our depth chart. This was after our last non-conference game back in 2004. He's like, man, we don't really need to – you don't need to lose your red shirt this year, basically. You use this year as a year to get to get right academically. And I still to this day thank Coach Saban for that, because that situation did put me in a position to graduate from LSU, have another year to go play with Derry and them. So me and Derry actually we were rookies at the same time because Derry didn't, he came in. My dog, he dug it, teach me how to dug it. He coming on the thing modest, but he started as a freshman now. I got some funny stories for him too, about him too.
We want to hear them all. We want to hear them all. We want to hear them all.
Yes, indeed. So the transition was cool. It was humbling more than anything else because, as y'all guys mentioned, I was one of the top defensive tackles in the country.
Wow.
Me and Glenn was like 1 and 2 on different polls.
Crazy, man.
And when we got there, the brotherhood, right? Because me, Glenn, Tyson, Charles Alexander, Tremaine Johnson, all of us came in that same class. And I can remember just us being like small fish in a big pond. You got guys like Kyle Williams and Claude Roten, Melvin Oliver, Big Marcus Spears, and those dudes really set the tone, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
03, they just won a natty.
Right.
We rolled that summer.
Right.
You heard me? So they fresh off getting their rings and all that. So we see all that. Like
Right.
that's
Motivation.
that was the attitude coming in. Like, yeah, we got to get this. So I think of guys like Curtis Taylor, Early Doucette, Herman Johnson. I can name my brothers like the back of my hand that I came in with, and the things that really stuck out more than anything else, y'all, transition-wise, was just being able to adjust to building again.
Yeah.
Right? You build this high school buzz. I think my senior year I might have had like 20 sacks. Junior year, 10 sacks.
Wait. We're not gonna skim. We're not about to skim past that. We're not about to skim past that.
Hey, before we get on camera though, Fade, that's what I told him. I said,
We're not about to skim past that,
in
bro.
high school, you would get comparisons to Warren Sapp.
Wait,
But
so
you're not about to skim over this.
What you
I ain't
said?
realize you had 20 sacks.
you said that was your senior year?
My senior year, one game I had 7 sacks.
Yeesh.
Man.
My senior year.
Man.
Yep. In my junior year, I had 10.
Jesus.
So,
Playing
yeah, man.
D tackle.
It's playing detail,
And
bro.
it's funny we talk about this. Like, I wish I'd have had at least half of the numbers like that at LSU. But I didn't because I wasn't utilized that way.
Right.
Right. Like, we had stuff down to a science at LSU. Like, we really did put people in the best position to be successful. So at practice, the things I really looked good at practice was the run stop. So Derry will tell you, 3rd and 12, they pulling me out the game, throwing Raheem or somebody in there, because we had these jet packages and things of that nature. Well, shoot, Derry was really the only linebacker on the field, right?
Yeah.
So, we would bring in nickels like Danny McCray and stuff like that. So that ate at my numbers. I think I finished LSU with like maybe 6 or 7 sacks over like 5 years.
Right.
So production-wise, it didn't look that way.
Right.
I had a chance. I went out on a good NDM, Dante, y'all. I went out with the New Orleans Voodoo. I broke their sack record, 13 and a half sacks.
Right.
So
That is crazy.
to talk about the position D-line, right, and how all that formulated, it was mental, right? At LSU in my head, run, stop. You're not good enough for the pass. And this person, he'll attest to this. It's funny, and I wish I'd have been a little smarter. I'd have asked him to return the favor a lot. Tyson used to come up to me. Derry will tell you this, like 5 seconds before the play gets started. Hey, Fave, I'm coming inside, all right? I'm coming inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he takes my gap, and I loop for contain, sack. He had like 4 or 5 sacks like that on his career. Just little tricks like that.
Right.
And it really made me, when I got to the NFL, bounced around as a journeyman, y'all, it really made me really focus on my pass rush game. And that's by the time I was 25 years old, I was able to finally figure it out.
The maturity, man, just growing into it, man.
And one thing I always wanted to know, too, like being highly recruited the way that you were, being a 5-star recruit, top 3 defensive tackle and all of that, what was that pressure like coming to college? Like, did you feel like you had to produce right off the bat as a true freshman? Like, I got to go and make an impact and make a name for myself. I always wondered that. Like, we always see 5-star guys come to that program. Like, how was that? Because I didn't have to experience that. I wasn't, I was a 4-star, a little bit. I did a little something, a little 4-star. But I didn't have.
We're not gonna have that on here. We're not gonna have.
We're not gonna let it. Derek can try to be modest.
I wouldn't highly sought out because I committed so early. But I always wondered, man, like a 5-star recruit, how was that pressure to come in and try to deliver early on in your career? Like, when you redshirted, how did that make you feel? Were you down, or were you like, man, I'm gonna put my head down and keep working?
Well, eventually I told myself I'm gonna put my head down and keep working, but it's humbling. I think that's the biggest word for me to use to describe because, and it's really the hometown pressure.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
Thanksgiving you go home or
Yeah,
Christmas
bro.
break.
Yeah. You gonna hear it. You gonna hear it.
Hey, bro, you starting this year with your red shirt? You know I ain't starting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
That's the pressure because you set the bar so high in high school. And, you know, your average person don't realize how that process is. Look, I know y'all had Glenn on, right? Let me
Yeah.
tell you a real story Glenn told me. I actually had to do this interview for his deal for his induction in the Louisiana Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Glenn, I will never forget. We just finished with practice. We was in the locker room, and he was just kind of talking. He was like, man, this year I got to get it. Now, this is Derry's going into Dougie's sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Glenn had this conversation because for him, okay, the Katrina year was over 05. He only had 2 years after that.
Yeah.
Right.
Me and Tyson, Tremaine, all us, we had 3 more years.
Right.
So for him, those 2 years, he was the first year Coach Saban had got so mad at Claude Roten,
Mm-hmm.
he said, get him out of there. Darcy, you getting there. And Glenn started 2 weeks.
Right.
Wow.
Like he was a starter his freshman year for 2 weeks on Saban's staff, and he did the same thing the next year, was a starter. 2 games because Claude messed up.
Right.
So Glenn had only started 4 games before our junior year, my redshirt sophomore year.
Right.
His true junior year,
True
because
junior.
all that got burned.
Right.
So I remember him telling me, he like, Fave, bro, I got to get it. I only got 2 years to do this.
Yeah.
And then Derry will tell you about our, historical 06 season. Like, to me, that was the year.
Yeah.
My red shirt sophomore year, your true sophomore year, that was the year I think we all solidified ourselves as a dominant defense. But at the same time, the chips were counting against some of us.
Right.
And the way we rotated, too, y'all. I know we'll get
y'all
into a
kept
lot of that
fresh ones.
stuff. Yeah, we had a very unique rotation.
Yeah.
Right.
This is true.
Derry will
Remember
tell
that.
you it was like 8 or 9 to 10 of us
Yeah.
that were rotating the game. So, like, how they say on Paid for, everybody eat, B.
Everybody eat beef.
Right. Well, what's the? I mean, of course, I wasn't I wasn't nowhere near the level you guys were, but what is the not only the pressure on the field, but in that room, like in y'all defensive line meeting rooms, you know what I'm saying? When y'all looking at film, like is it like you being critical of yourself, your teammates being critical of you as well. You're like on top of that, your coaches. Like, what is it like in that room where you got that much talent, and share that. Like, what is it like in that room as you as an individual in that room full of talented kids, being talented yourself.
Right.
That was the beautiful part, Dante. The ability to have that selfless attitude, and that's the attitude all of us really approached it. Now, everybody wanted to eat, but it was about the next man, and I have to give Coach Miles his credit for that. We had this thing called the chain game, so it was no lane could be weak, and we really took that attitude. Like, the beautiful part about playing defense with this guy, and I mean with this team, and the way we had things, and what really alleviated a lot of that pressure was the fact that we all rotated. At the end of the game, we all had just about the same amount of plays, except Tyson and Glenn. Obviously they didn't come out for PowerPoint reasons.
Right.
But we couldn't complain, really. Now, of course, the bar was high, and we were what we like to call, outside of Tyson and Glenn, everybody else was rotational starters.
Right. Okay. I get it.
So it was this, okay, Charles Alexander, you had a better practice this week, so you starting this week.
Okay.
Fave, you starting this week. So we all shared it. And honestly, y'all, I think that's the reason we won a lot of games, because it was, I've been on bad teams. I played arena football. So I done been on some teams, like our first year with arena, we went to the playoffs. We were okay because everybody was young, little vanilla on the team. We had a few veterans, but it was sprinkled veterans, so nobody really knew. We had no egos.
Right.
And that was the thing that really set us up. Think about it like this, y'all. And Derek, me and you talk about this a lot. Think of the Leonard Fournette days, Jamal Adams days.
Yeah.
those were the individual days at LSU. That was the days it was so, hey, come to LSU so you can go to the NFL.
Right.
So we had a lot of 3 and outs.
Yeah.
Right? Then.
Yeah.
With us, we had guys like Carnell Stewart, Lyle Hitt,
Yep.
Brett Helms. These guys were great players, but there were no big names.
Yeah.
I get you.
Our team was a team full of no big names. The biggest name on our team was Glenn Darcy.
Yeah.
Right.
And he never wore that T-shirt.
Right.
Glenn had the attitude. First and foremost, D linemen don't typically get that amount of love.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the running back or the quarterback. Like, think about it. Joe Burrow.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Leonard
Right.
Fournette.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
These names,
I get it.
individuals. It was Glenn, but Glenn was like, nah, it's my brother. Like, Derry will tell you, when we did interviews and stuff, like, all of us was on the magazine. I remember one deal we did, they did a special on our D-line. We had to take a 10-person picture.
Yeah.
So every individual was able to shine, and I think that was the key ingredient to no jealousy was created like that.
Absolutely.
We ran our team. Like,
Yeah.
we had a unity council. Like, we had issues on the team. It wasn't coaches handling that. It was Derry and Glenn and guys like that handling it. So I think in terms of pressure, Dante, that was some of the things that was able to alleviate a lot of that pressure. We was really a team.
Right. Everybody carried it.
Everybody carried it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Everybody.
I think that's dope knowing me knowing, Dougie for a long time since we were younger, and even Putt, even knowing him, he went to EA and some years behind me. So knowing them and just even hearing this conversation, I can see and it's a very rare thing I think y'all had, because I can even pick up y'all personalities, and that's not really normal when you got a bunch of dogs on a team. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it'll be somebody that's kind of biggity or somebody that's kind of or whatever. But I'm even hearing you talk, knowing Doug, knowing Putt, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing that was a very rare thing, you know what I'm saying, to have that much, if I want to say it, a lot of humility. I mean, he's just talking about he coming off of high school with 20 sacks. To me, don't tell me nothing. Put me in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think that was the beauty. I think that was a part of a major part of you guys' success too. Just those demeanors and be able to mesh that way, man. I never knew. I'm loving listening to this because I'm on the outside. You know what I'm saying? I never been in the locker room like that. I never even played high school. I played little basketball. Never played high school football. So hearing these conversations, but even hearing how it meshes. You know what I'm saying? It's inspiring to hear the teamwork of it. You know what I'm saying?
He brought up a good point too about the magazine. Like that's a real thing.
Wow.
Like, we didn't do any magazine shoot individually.
Nope.
Like, we were like,
I got one. I still got one on.
Yeah.
I got one with you, Putt, and Allie Highsmith.
and we did that together. It wasn't like
Got that one too. That one was dope.
we
Hey, bro, I
wasn't
ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm kind of getting chills to think about this thing, man. Like, for real, bro.
like we wasn't going to.
That's not normal.
Yeah, we wasn't gonna do that by ourselves. You can remember even with D Lyman. I remember that whole spread with y'all was on there. Even with the Sports Illustrated with LaRon, Shevitz, and Ali, it was a close knit group, and it was a togetherness that I think nowadays you kind of losing some of that just a little bit.
And I think you're gonna lose a little bit more with the NIL stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that
That's-
a little later.
That's a good point.
We'll get to that later. I got a good question for. I asked Doug this. We were talking. We kind of shoot it and talk before we get started. Just kind of messing around. I asked Doug the question. We were all asking Doug questions. So, and it's gonna lead to that other question we had about the quarterbacks. Who, in your opinion, do you think was the toughest quarterback that you faced in your tenure at LSU? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're talking cerebral. I don't care if you're talking about somebody just a beast, whatever. Who, in your opinion, if you could think, would you think was the toughest quarterback that you might have played against? That's a good question, too. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question. Physically, like someone who's just, I give T-Boys props. Even though we shut him down,
Doug said the same thing.
he was still like, he was tough. And,
Right.
and he did this thing like when you made a play on him, he hurried up and got up before you did and said, God bless you, man, and try to help you
Doug
up.
said that. Doug just said that. He told LaRon that. He said he told LaRon that one time.
He really about that life. That
Yeah.
was tough. Man. Ooh, Derry. My 5th year, your 4th, your final year. Georgia.
Matthew Stafford.
Going against Matthew Stafford. When they came through there, and I remember watching that matchup. See, the beautiful thing for me watching the NFL now, especially the last 10 years up until now, was why I watched two freshmen, Julio Jones and Patrick Peterson,
Yeah.
battle it out that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew these guys were going to be stars.
Yep.
And then I see him. That's against Alabama. And then I see him do the same thing against AJ Green.
Yes. Yes.
For Green for Georgia, and to see those dudes be elite receivers, and then Patrick Peterson. Like when I went on the NFL Network 2 summers ago, they had me do one of the segments was name my top 5 LSU players in the NFL. At that time, Patrick Peterson was the #1 guy on my list because he made 8 Pro Bowls straight. So that's a huge accomplishment to me in a league where, as a cornerback, you're forced to be on an island and go against elite receivers.
Absolutely.
Well, ever since the age of 18, you going against elite receivers. That's
Top
18
receiver.
and y'all battle it out each year. Come on, man.
Yeah, bro.
So that was something that really, quarterback wise, to answer your question, I do think that Tim Tebow 07, and then my 08 season against Matthew Stafford at LSU when Georgia beat us at home.
Yeah.
Yup.
What's y'all was asking the question earlier? We can kind of get into that. Talking about the quarterback thing.
So, yeah.
Y'all had the question. I couldn't remember exactly.
So the question went basically we was just shooting it, man. We was like, if you had, across history of college football, you had to pick 1 year, any quarterback you want for 1 year. We had some discussions amongst ourselves. We had to stop because we were like, man, it's too good. We gotta get this on the pod.
Yeah, we like shut up.
So-
Wait till we get the mics on, man. Stop talking about it.
So, basically, that's the premise of it. We'll run in between and let you hear ours, and then we'll get around and give you some time to stew on it, think about it a little bit. So Doug, you go ahead. Who you had?
I said for 1 year, give me Cam Newton.
Right.
Ooh, I like that.
I ain't even say nobody.
Yeah, I didn't say nobody, right?
In the room. I was just listening.
So I was like, man, for my money, man, give me Vic. And
I like that.
I'll go at you. I'll go at you all day with that one. So that's basically the premise, man. Give me 1 year. You got 1 year with a quarterback.
To get it done.
To get it done. Get it done. Get the chip. Who you rolling with on that one?
Now, I like the Cam idea. I think Cam, people forget how doggish this dude was. Was that the 2010 season?
Yeah. It was
Oh,
ridiculous.
yeah, he went ham.
It was ridiculous.
But y'all gonna probably feel me on this one, and that's just because I had a close view working for LSU Sports Network. I'm taking Joey Burrow, baby.
I knew he was gonna say that. I knew it.
Joe Burrow.
I knew it.
Yes, sir.
For 1 year,
He
I'm
that guy.
taking
For 1
him.
year.
He
That
that
was
guy.
the greatest college football season ever.
You can't.
Period.
Can't shout
And
it
it's
down.
not taking anything away from Vic's time at Virginia Tech. I thought he put together some stuff.
Yeah.
Cam, people sleep on what Cam did. People sleep on Jameis Winston too.
Yeah.
Like
This
that
is
dude.
true.
Good.
In college?
This is the
College?
truth.
That is. That's true.
This is the
College,
truth.
bro.
true.
Yeah.
That is
He
true.
took over for Emmanuel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and just so. But and this is why I choose Joe Burrow. The top 5 teams
Yeah.
in those back-to-backs, right? And that's why, Derry, you can understand and appreciate this. That's why a lot of people sleep. See Gus Malzahn,
Yeah.
that defensive line, the year we won the national championship in 2019, dog, we only beat them by what, 3 points?
Yeah.
Yeah, them two dudes they had the D-tackle in the middle. Yeah.
What?
That's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was Joey's toughest battle, and he still won.
Yeah.
You know, Florida at home.
You're right.
And I ain't gonna get into the college playoffs. So 1 year, I'm taking Joey Burrow in that 2019 year if I can
Yeah,
pick him.
man.
That's
You,
true.
you gonna give us somebody, bro?
I'm going with him. I'm going with him. I can't. Joey was the one I thought about, but I wasn't gonna say nothing. 'Cause I was gonna let him roll. But yeah,
Some of the other names we brought up was Vince Young,
Vince Young,
of course.
Yep.
Who else we threw in there, man?
You said Cole Brennan.
Cole Brennan, man, back in the Hawaii, flying Hawaiian days.
Yep.
Yeah. Johnny Manziel.
Dang, I ain't even see Johnny.
Johnny, golly, I forgot about Johnny football.
True. That's
2
true.
years.
For 1 year.
I got one for y'all. I got a sleeper for y'all. And I had this person on my show a few weeks ago, and Derek can attest to this. see if Ryan Perrilloux comes back to LSU.
He said he was talking about that last week, bro.
We keep bringing that name
it's
up.
All
Bro.
right, so Fave, honestly, if he comes back 08, and I was telling Dante and Montreal this, if he comes back in 08, he was honestly the biggest reason why I decided to come back my senior year. Because even back then, a lot of guys, like you said earlier, a lot of guys were not leaving after 3 years. You stayed 4 years anyway because the money was such a big difference. But man, I knew the talent that Ryan had, and as a player in the locker room, you can attest to this. You want your quarterback almost on a borderline of cockiness. You do. You love that about your quarterback, and he had it. Mm-hmm. If Ryan Perrilloux comes back that 2008 year, I think we're winning it.
I think we win it. Now, I think it's two things happen. Three things. We go undefeated and screw up at the end. Mm-hmm. We at least win an SEC championship with that dude. Mm-hmm. Oh, we win a natty again.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people tiptoe over this. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. We had two great quarterbacks at LSU with Matt Flynn and Ryan Perrilloux.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan got us to the national championship.
Yeah.
Bro.
That SEC championship performance.
Come on. Yeah.
Like it was, that dude was an elite.
Yeah, he stepped in there.
Yep.
Ryan was the first internet star too in college football. A lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. Ryan was a big, like, coming into LSU, the buzz he had, and the marketing that he, like his team in high school. Dude. I'm not East St. John. I'm talking about his representation.
Yeah, his people.
Like, I know we were gonna talk about the NIL stuff a little later, but he wasn't earning nothing. But he was earning. He was marketing.
He was marketing.
Like Ryan was on in ESPN magazine.
Wow.
He had an article that said, when I come to LSU, I'm gonna start as a freshman.
I remember that.
Oh no,
I remember that.
No,
you remember that? He was like, Jamarcus, I think I can take him out, and Matt Flynn just not as good as me.
I remember that. I remember all that.
And they quoted that.
No.
So his first day at LSU for the 110s, Derry will tell you, because they came into class together. Boy, Nate Livingston and all them dudes, Melvin Oliver, they told Ryan up. Because he got there on like 110.5. He throwing up. Man, so you supposed to be coming. Man, get out of here. Man, I'm telling you, they got him that day, and that was a humbling moment for Ryan.
Right.
You know, and Ryan was my roommate. I never forget, Coach Nader was like, Marlon, I already talked to Kirsten, and just hitting you up. We want to have Ryan moving with you guys because y'all have fun, but y'all kind of cool. And I'm like, oh, Lord, it's about to be part of USC. Yes, indeed, man. But that shout out to RP, man. He came on Inside the Trenches a few episodes ago, man, and we still chop it up. Guy matured a lot over the years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I went on Derry's recruiting trip, right? And and Ryan was being recruited at the same time. And like we sitting in there, we in the whole room waiting to walk out on the field for warm-ups and everything like that. And man, before you even see him, bro, you heard him. Like soon as Ryan hit the door, bro, he was the loudest person in the room. You know what I'm saying? He was the loudest person in the room. We looking around like, man, who this is, man? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was like, like after I saw him, I was like, okay, I know. I ain't never heard him talk. You know, I ain't never been in the same room with him up until that point. So, but like you said, man, dude matured a lot since that time. But listen, that's what it's about.
When I heard all that noise, talking about I'm starting as a freshman. I mean, he was talking that cash noise, and I heard all that. But I had went and watched him play in high school. I went and watched one of his games. And I think they were playing Lutch, if I'm not saying. It was a big game for him. And I watched this boy. We were talking about this off air last week. I think it was. I watched this boy play both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. And he was playing quarterback. I think that boy lined up at wide out a couple times. He was playing safety. And I watched him, and I don't want to exaggerate, man, but I watched that boy throw like a touchdown. I watched him run a touchdown. I watched him catch a pick for a touchdown. All of this in one game.
And serve nachos.
And serve nachos. That man was throwing the football out and saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, and I was like, I know there's a transition from high school to college. I understand it's different, but I was like, I went to the game. I gotta believe him because of what I saw that night. And at that time, they were playing Lutcher, and Lutcher wasn't trash. Like it was a real good rivalry. So I said, man, I don't know, man. If this boy paying out, boy, this might be something we ain't never seen before. You know what I'm saying? So I believed him when he first came in, man.
It's just one of those seasons that we just never would know.
Right, you never know. It's just one of them things you can always talk about and just.
You just gotta,
man, Fave, I think people need to hear this. Even for me, even for Dante, Montreal, and our viewers is listening to this. Tell them about your NFL journey, because I think personally you have the most unique NFL journey in professional football history.
Wow!
And I think it shaped you to what you're doing now. So just tell them about your journey, things that you went through, your persistence, your consistency, man. I think people need to hear about what you went through and what you accomplished.
See, this is somebody that played 4 years of ball with me, so he know me.
Absolutely.
And he's 100% correct. And I think it was uniquely put together by God, the way this NFL journey went for me, because it didn't make sense at all throughout the whole journey, but it made perfect sense 10 years later, y'all.
Wow, right. Right.
So just for y'all's listeners, I'll just give a background on my NFL story. I'm what you call an NFL journeyman, right? So my time, like my brother Putt, my brother Tyson, those guys were first-round draft picks. The way the NFL works, those guys are going to fulfill those contracts even if they get traded, because the NFL don't believe in wasting money. Even if their production was low or high, which both of those guys, they met the criteria of being NFL defensive linemen their whole time now.
Right.
But it's easier when you get the money on the front end, because they respect the fact that you were drafted and you'll catch somebody's active roster. For me, it would have probably been best for me to leave in the 2007 season because I had a second-round grade. I ended up having to pull out, and I'm going to run the whole stuff to y'all. I'm going to make it sweet and quick as possible, just kind of highlight some pieces. And then there's some game that dropped us, because the listeners that's younger, they need to hear this too.
Absolutely.
I pulled out, Coach Nader told me, Marlon, I understand what you're doing, but you do not need to pull out an insurance policy. Now, at the time, Derek could attest to this. You had the Willis McGahee thing going around. Like everybody didn't want to have the deal where they had the season-ending injury, career-ending injury, and you miss out on your NFL bag.
Right.
So you started to get guys, we would get graded by the laws of London, and they would say, okay, well, he gets a second-round grade. Okay, you get $1 million policy. That's the type of stuff that we were doing back then. And I took the policy. I ended up doing it because I had a second-round grade in 2007.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I had 2 ankle injuries. I missed tons of games 07. I played like 6 or 7 plays in the national championship. Like I was Arkansas. I didn't even play in the SEC championship. I was out. I had 2 sprained ankles in the Arkansas game.
Right.
So we Glenn was out of it too, but he couldn't. He had to, because conversation we had before.
I had to get it. Had to get it.
And then Glenn, let me tell you something. I heard him say this on y'all show. He went high risk, high reward, and nailed it. Like,
Nailed it.
Let me tell you something, dude. I watched it. I was with Glenn. Dog. We were all together at this time. I watched this dude stare $20 million down the barrel and turned around and went back to LSU.
Sheesh.
Hardest thing ever. And it still paid off. So, when I explain this journey, y'all, so that's what I mean. So, I go undrafted, right? Carolina, $25,000 signing bonus. So I go undrafted. Once you go undrafted, you go on that list. Yeah, it's going. Even if you better than the draft pick, they still gonna go with the draft pick. So
they spend their money,
you see what I'm saying, D? Like it really. It's just business at the end of the day. It's nothing personal. It's situations where I had teammates and the defensive coordinator have the same agent. So that's the business side of it.
Politics,
but y'all, I just kept my head down and kept working. It was stressful. A lot of depression, a lot of hard times, a lot of resentment, a lot of, at one point, me, Tyson, and Glenn, and all of us was in Kansas City together. And like at that moment, in those moments, I didn't feel a brotherly love. Like, and this my boys. Like, I'm staying in an extended stay, paying right at $1,000 a month. making practice squad money, and those dudes. So at the time, the 22-year-old, 23-year-old Marlon, like, yeah, what's up, man? Shoot, I could just crash at Tyson crib, or I could crash by Glenn crib, no invites, no mentions, and there was nothing against them or anything like that. It's just a business. Hey, we first rounders, and you know what I'm saying? We see at practice. What's up, dog? But I'm hanging with these rich cats right here. So to go through those ups and downs too, and then. That year, so my rookie year, I played on 5 teams. So I did 10 NFL teams total. So I went undrafted to Carolina, get released. From there, I work out for Atlanta and Buffalo and Kansas City, going back into New Orleans and those cities. Flying back from, this is all my rookie year, flying back from Buffalo, I had got a call from Kansas City in the air to land to a missed call from my agent, my fiance, which is my wife now, but at the time she was my fiance, and my parents. Where you at? Well, they were trying to get you out there tonight. I was like, well, I just landed tonight. Could they fly me out in the morning? I still got the deal. Yeah, they could fly out in the morning. So I fly to Kansas City. So I ended up signing me to the practice squad. There was 7 LSU cats there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Dwayne Bowe. It was Rudy Nicewander. Travis Daniels eventually came back on the roster. Glenn Dorsey, Tyson Jackson, yours truly.
Right.
I'm missing somebody. I said Dwayne Bowe already? Yeah, so it was 6 of us out there at one time, right? All of us were out there. Now, Debo, him and my pops, they super cool. So Debo, at that point when Debo started to say, hey, Fave, man, you good? You straight? I didn't want to, at that point, I'm like, hey, I'm good. I didn't want to have egg in my face again. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, nah, because Debo was like, yeah. See, when I got cut, Debo, my pa had to, because I had drove my truck down and he had took my rental down to New Orleans. I got cut, so he had to drive the rental back to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And Debo had put my pa up, had his limo driver pick him up, bring him this and that was some brotherly love stuff right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So fast forward, so then Kansas City was my longest stint on one team. I was there for 10 weeks, got 10 regular season active checks, practice squad checks. So that was the most money I made was my rookie year in the NFL, the signing bonus and those checks.
Right.
And then they released me, and it was just like, at that point, man, it was tough. So when I got released, I had my oldest son with me and my wife. They had flew. They just so happened to have flew out there that weekend. So they ended up canceling the flights and driving. We all drove back down to New Orleans, drove back from Kansas City. Oakland called me trying to see what was up because I was on the wires. And Seattle hit me up. Yeah. So Seattle hit me up. They're like, you got to get on a plane now. I'm speeding from Baton Rouge to New Orleans. I was going at least 100. You travel.
I already know.
To get there because I got to, come on, man. This is killing me.
Yeah.
So I get there and I missed the flight in Dallas. I had a layover in Dallas and I missed the Seattle flight. So they had to fly me back and had to try again. So they could have not tried again. Yeah. Right. So I ended up spending the rest of the regular season in 2009 in Seattle. Yeah. And this is, y'all, at this point, y'all, when I didn't sign a futures deal with Seattle. So I was a free agent when the season was over. And I hadn't came home. Like, at this point, look, I got a little money in my pocket. I'm going to just work out, chill with the fam, and just wait to see what's next. Right. But see, I was done, but God wasn't. Yeah. Right? Yeah. He was like, nah, bro, you thought all this was going to make perfect sense to you in a minute. And I'm driving to Brain. I just brought Cantrell to school. I'm headed back to go work out. I'm on the West Bank at this point. I'm in Woodmere. I was going to get my equipment from my cousin and, do some stuff on the field. Right. So I get a 504 number call me that's not locked in. Yeah. So I answer the phone, and I get this Ryan Pace, GM at the time. He was under Mickey Loomis at the Saints. He said, Marlon, what's up? This Ryan. Ryan was a GA, at LSU. Yeah. When we were there. So by the time I got to the league, he became an assistant under Mickey Loomis. Yeah, Marlon, you at home? Where you at right now? You in the city? I said, yeah, I'm here. He was like, well, man, we got a practice squad spot available on our roster. I'm like, wait, what? And just the night before, I was in the club with all them. It was me, Devery, Glenn, all like we were all in the club the night before. They just beat Arizona. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh snap! So I went to how you don't hyperventilate, but you kind of like
right.
I'm like, wait, what's going on? And in my mind, they said, "Could you get to the facility in the next hour?"
Bet. Watch me.
Yo, let me show you how crazy this was. This was dangerous, scary, and I could have went to jail. from Woodmere, I was going at least 100 up Barataria. I was running lights and everything. I got on the bridge. Boom! I dropped off on the Earhart, and in my mind, while I'm speeding, I'm like, if the police pull me over, I'm gonna tell them that I have a workout with the Saints.
Right.
And I felt like in my mind, I'm playing all of this. That cop gonna get in front of me and go drive me. You feel me? Because that's the energy that was in the city at the time.
It was.
The Saints could potentially be the first Super Bowl. You know, that was the energy. So I thank the Lord I got there. And it was some familiar faces, y'all. So in the workout, so I never met Bill Johnson before. I was a D-line coach. Well, I met him at the, workouts and stuff. You heard me?
Yeah.
And I had never met no, I'm sorry, excuse me. A couple other staffers, but Coach Jones was there. Coach Travis Jones was my D-line coach on the staff with Coach Saban.
Oh, wow.
At LSU.
Yeah.
What up, Big Fave? I see you, boy. So you get that comfort. So I'm going through the bathroom, doing the workout. I'm hitting the workout, y'all. I'm tired. I don't care. I'm just
Right.
I'm going to do whatever I got to do in this workout to
the
impress
squad.
these people
Right.
so they can sign me.
Right.
Because this ain't real right now.
Yeah.
And, and then the whole time, Coach Bill, you keep your mouth closed, huh? I ain't gonna have you talking in my meeting and all that. While I'm working out, he sounded like, Coach, whatever you need me to do, I weigh in. So they just got me waiting. So I never forget. It was Reggie Bush, it was Remy Ardell, Robert Meacham, and Cedric Ellis. So I was sitting down, and those dudes were going to their lodges, and I was sitting by. So saying them, and these guys talking to me like I'm their teammate already. So I'm like, I'm just kind of waiting to see how this workout go. So then the assistant come down and say, "Hey, Marlon, we need you to come sign this." I'm like, wait, this ain't really happening now. Wait.
Yeah. Dang.
So I go and I sign and stuff. So, we grown men. You got to hold your emotions together.
Right.
I'm in there kind of like, dog, you know how you ever felt like somebody, your feelings hurt and your eyes are full of water, but you can't
gotta
cry?
hold it, right? Trying to hold it.
So I'm kind of doing stuff. I'm trying not to blank, so I'm just kind of like doing that type deal and all that. So, bro, that's exactly how I look, though. You open your eye wide. So then, bro, I signed the contract and my phone went to ringing. So I guess they must have made the announcement.
Gotcha.
And I remember I got in my truck, y'all, and this was crazy. This is how I knew God is real. I looked up to the clouds for a second. Like I said, I bust out crying. I saw the clouds were smiling.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I did this. And I looked up. It was gone.
Wow.
And that was God was showing me, like, I told you I had you, bro.
Smiling on you, bro.
Yeah, bro. And I drove home, and the rest was history, man. And that's that story there. So I know that the Saints story is long. So then from there, year 2, the Saints released me. I went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Went to Indy. Went out to the UFL. Played with the Hartford Colonials for my first stint with the UFL.
Right.
That was cool too, Derry, because and if it stopped me off, I'm a little too long.
No, man, you good. You good.
You good,
It's a
man.
good question, yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. I'm listening. I'm learning, man.
So peep this out with the So y'all not a D League work in the NFL. I mean the NBA.
Right.
That's what the UFL was for the NFL until they folded. So I'm working out. I'm doing. So out in the UFL, I made $1,000 more per week than I was making on the practice squads in the NFL.
Okay.
Plus, I was active.
Right. So you was getting a chance to put some film, get on film, right?
Putting some film out there, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to put some film out there. So they had scouts in that region. Each team had NFL scouts coming. So Hartford, Connecticut is 2 hours away from Baltimore. From Boston, Massachusetts.
So,
I ended up signing with the Patriots when I left them.
Yep.
And I was like, what? It made sense. They must have saw me. So I signed with the Patriots for year 2. For the rest of year 2, and then the lockout happened, and all that stuff. And now I signed a futures deal with the Patriots in 2011. And then from there I got re-signed, and then we get back after the lockout. A couple weeks there, and they cut me.
Yeah.
Eagles picked me up, that was a roster. It was Nnamdi Asomugha. It was Michael Vick.
I remember
Vince
that.
Young, LaShawn McCoy, and Asante Samuel. It was Trent Cole. It was some dogs on that team.
Yeah.
Got released from Philly. And then St. Louis picked me up again for a second stint, and they released me. At that point, I felt I was getting a nervous breakdown because it was like it's like walking with no ground under you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At any moment, they can say, "We don't need you no more. Get out of our life."
Right.
Good riddance.
Right.
And then after that, I did another year. First year with Arena, ended up doing 3 years of that, and I had one more run at the NFL team with the Washington football team, and that was my 10 NFL teams.
Yeah.
I did 2 UFL, 1 AFL, so I ended up 13 teams, 6 years, and jumped into broadcasting.
So with that, man, that's a crazy story, right? But like you said, man, like. You obviously have a great sense of humor, man, like about you. But like you said, you had to deal with depression and all that. Like how did you go about dealing with the bouncing around, you had a young family already, that you was trying to take care of, right? And how do you, balancing? Man, I'm not really spending no time with, like you said, you're not having the time with your young son and your wife, and while you trying to pursue this career, but man, I can't bring them up because hell, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it was hard, y'all.
So how did you
deal
with that?
Y'all.
Yeah,
I commend her, bro, because like I said, every couple goes through stuff, but she stuck through it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was watching cats fall off. Like I was seeing beautiful women pull up with these ballers, and the second they get cut, she cut them too. You know what I'm saying?
They got cut twice.
Yeah, you get cut twice. So mentally, it was like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all pulling. I told y'all got me later in there. Y'all pulling it out.
Come on, man.
Like, I'm barely recovered. Like I'm slightly recovered.
Wow.
Like that NFL journey. That's why I go so hard, bro. Like that's why I do all this stuff, because I never felt like I was able to reach the potential financially that I deserved and could have gotten.
Yeah.
So I started putting that energy into other stuff to chase that bag.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right.
That was the addiction. It's like, so the whole while, this is what the NFL does to journeymen. You sign these contracts, but they're just hanging that steak over your head, and every time you try to bite, they pull it back.
Right.
And that does something to you mentally. Is it?
Wow.
The transition was weird, y'all. Like it was. And I know a lot of football players go through different transitions. Like some folks, you catch a cat, such and such beat his wife or committed suicide. Or, man, that's the parallels to military and NFL is crazy.
Yeah.
Because where the military, of course, that's a short-term kill. You could die right now. But this is a long-term kill. Like you sacrificing your body, your life. And some cats, they get the fruits of the labor from that. Other cats, that's why, like, you know what? I'm gonna just Derry nailed it, y'all. Like he said what it was. He was like, I know that has something to do with how all of this, and it all made perfect sense later, y'all. Like, when I went to the NFL Network, and it like little stuff like that God do, y'all. It was 10 years from when we won the Super Bowl, 2019. So it's like the Saints already celebrating that, and it's kind of like, my deal, like. I ain't really tell this to a lot of people, but I ain't get my Super Bowl ring until like 3 years later.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I had to file a grievance for that, Derek. I never told you that. Like, it was.
Hold on, is that breaking news on Evergreen Pod?
Breaking news.
That is breaking news. I
Breaking news.
I did not know that.
I never told that to nobody.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother long story. That relationship is better now. I talked to Mickey and Sean this weekend, but, back then at 23, you couldn't tell me y'all wasn't trying to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Mentally.
Right.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
And it was different, and that's why the broadcasting. So when I went to that was my like it was a full circle story. Like think about this. Watch how full circle this is. To show how real God is, y'all. We won the Super Bowl in Miami.
Yep.
2009. After I jumped off that Super Bowl cliff, my life has been like a depression.
Wow.
Like it's just been depression.
Right.
I didn't stressed out so much, then got overweight to where I got hospitalized, just all stressed. You know, the doctor said my heart was fine, but, you need to calm down on stress.
I've been there.
And it's just like life does that to you,
Yep.
And yeah, it was hard, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It was tough, but I just always persevered through faith. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just because you're up here and it's just boom. You just hit rock bottom. So that's why. And it was like my relationship wasn't really good with the Saints until 2019 when they saw me at the Super Bowl. But now I'm working in a different capacity. Now I'm working for the NFL on the broadcasting end.
Right.
So it was a different feeling. It's like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm interviewing people on the red carpet and, doing all this stuff. And it wasn't for y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that really did, it's some stuff I can tell y'all, bro. There's a lot of stuff that went down with that situation, but I count it all joy because it made me the man I am today.
Absolutely.
That's what I said. It wasn't intimidating going to the broadcast boot camp. It was 36 players there. All of us was 36 of us. And some of these, Vernon Davis, is Matthew Castle, bigger names. But I had made it to the top 4 to work the Super Bowl.
Right.
Out of all those guys. Now, all of us got different gigs or different places. I talk to Vernon every once in a while. He's doing his movie stuff, acting, doing some television. But, for the most part, that was my story, bro, because it was weird. I'm like, I'm in Miami 10 years later
back
at a Super Bowl. But
crazy. That's
why I named the album, the music that I'm dropping, From Balling to Broadcasting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, because it kept me in my arena.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go work for some Fortune 500 company and sit behind a desk. Now, I got my hustle. I do a little project management every once in a while. My cousin owns a company, but, that's to keep the lights on here and there.
Absolutely.
But my career is in broadcasting.
Right.
What we doing right now. So I thank God that I was able to, to do that, man.
Right.
I'm just thankful, y'all.
Yeah, I told we were talking earlier, and I told Doug I heard something a couple of days ago. I believe God said to me, but I heard something a couple of days ago, and he said sometimes we're so busy with our choices that we don't realize that we're chosen. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we're so busy, or sometimes we're so busy choosing what we think our destiny is going to be that we don't give space for the bigger choosing that was already before we even planned all this. And
Hello, somebody.
And I was telling Doug, man, even talking about you, man, and it's our first time even being acquainted, but I told Doug, I say sometimes, man, we don't know, and you said it a little minute ago, but sometimes we don't know that the whole time he was trying to get you to broadcasting. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know the steps that life will take to get you where you're supposed to be. Your highest call and the highest choosing is broadcasting. It probably wasn't playing football, even though sometimes we think it in our heads. But those are the steps that they use to get us to what I call our bread and butter, and we just don't know sometimes, man. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's dope. Even hearing the story and hearing the perseverance, and even hearing you keep going. I've heard of some guys just stop. But just keep going through the process. And it takes you where you're supposed to be. You never know. Sometimes you don't even know where you're gonna end up at. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but then you'll end up where your purpose really is. So I love it, man.
And think about it, Fave. We all want this. The journey that you went through, and what you're doing now. If you can go back, would you rather be a first round draft pick or go through what you went through now?
Man, it's crazy, man.
You see what I'm saying? Like. Because sometimes if you are the first round draft pick, or
you know why I'm laughing. Shoot, that's about $30 million.
But listen, I know that's true. Yeah, I know. But listen,
it's inspirational. It's inspirational.
Yeah, but listen, look,
I'm with you.
I know, but it's, like for a first round draft pick or go through the journey you went through now. Because think about this: even if you were the first round draft pick, it's a lot of guys, Big Fave, all seriousness, who go first round and never really had to go through anything because that contract was guaranteed. They did get traded. They really did get cut. They finished out their contract, and when they're done, they are completely lost.
Right.
You don't
know where you're going.
You have multiple millions of dollars. And you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Now, Fave, you went through the process. You went through the journey.
Absolutely.
But you know exactly who you are. You know exactly what your identity is. And you're flourishing in it. You're going to continue to flourish in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about, going through that journey, as opposed to maybe
making that bag and come on the other side and be lost.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know what to do when
There's
it's
a lot
over.
of people that do that, bro.
Absolutely.
Look at it. I mean, some of the people that, I mean, unfortunately, like you had a chance to see like Junior Seau like up close.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the bag was secure for Junior Seau.
Secure.
You know what I'm saying?
Secure.
Back to the point. He hit on it earlier a few minutes ago about, we talked about CTE.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, yes, it is. CTE is a real thing.
Right.
We're not discrediting that at all.
Right.
But also, it's the fact that if you don't know what you want to do,
Man, come on,
and
man.
you don't know what you want to accomplish in life and have no purpose as a man, that's hard.
Man, purpose is your pulse,
Yeah.
man. Purpose is your pulse, man. It keeps you going. You know what I'm saying? And I even hearing you, you know, the way, even hearing you talk, I've heard y'all do interviews before, you and Doug. And so, but I even, if you would have never told me your story, you would have never told me anything. Just hearing you, even communicating with us right now, and just hearing all the stuff you've done, I'd be like, yo, you were meant to do this. You know what I'm saying? Without hearing the story, without hearing anything, I would know that, because it's I don't know, man. It's something. You know, some people work hard at doing things and they get better at it. You know what I'm saying? And some people, there's different ways people get to different things, but then sometimes some people just got it. And even though it still takes work to develop what you got, some people just got it, and that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing and I'm hearing. And I just, you know, all the steps, man, all the journey, man. The journey was this, man. It's been the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to get all deep into that, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's,
And I know we got to go to the next subject, but you and Derry hit on something. Well, all three of y'all hitting on something right now. Derry, what you said was real too, because Marcus Davenport.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure he's under. I talked to that dude. I interviewed him. He was like, man, you know, after my rookie year, I was just so stressed out. So I decided to go out to, he said he went to Wyoming, no cell phone, just did yoga. Because it's the mental. Yeah, I got money. Okay, I can go buy whatever I want from the store, but I still got the mental. Like, my mind's still messed up from this. So, yeah, money isn't everything, to Derry's point. You know, peace of mind is all. Yeah. And then the scrambling, too, y'all. Like, still to this day, I do multiple things, but not knowing that, well, now it makes sense, because now people are now diversifying their portfolios.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And, you know, people just do one thing. Man, I was never called to do one thing. Like, I've been recording music and broadcasting and television and stuff like that as long as I've been doing football. Mm-hmm. So Derry tell you, I earned my starting job at LSU recording my first full-length album, Sophisticated Hustlers, with Black
Venom. Yeah, he told me he was doing it at the same time.
Yes, sir.
And listen, I do music. I've been doing music for a long time, bro. So I know that hustle. I know the focus that it take to get that done, man, and to get it done at a high level, bro. So that's, you know what I'm saying, being able to do that.
And therapy, dog. It was therapy.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Screwed off, you know what I'm saying? But after practice, I just go to the studio. I'm inside the studio. I'm recording stuff, you know, and I'm dropping music. And the way we did it, I did all my recording in the spring.
Wow.
So I couldn't do that to my brother Derry. Yeah. I couldn't be focused on getting these rings.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, and then it was perfect timing too, because Coach Saban would have never allowed what I did at LSU. Coach Miles embraced it. Yeah. Derry will tell you, it was Coach Miles' idea for Black Venom to perform at 2 hour Sugar Bowl dinners.
Wow.
That was Coach Miles' idea. He was
dope.
like, well, why don't y'all come perform?
That's dope. Okay.
That's dope, man. Because Miles did a good job at meeting his players where they are.
Uh-huh.
He's
like the players coach.
Yeah, and that's what I really did like about, because, you know, people have said some things about Miles. That's one of the things. Now Coach Miles, one thing we didn't like with them 15-hour practices.
Be out there all day long, bro.
Derry, you don't know what a LSU practice is, dog. You don't know. See, at first year with Saban, Dog, let me tell y'all something. True story. I know we kind of going. We just running.
Go for it. Run it, man. Run it. That's what we here for.
That first year was saving, bro. You know when daylight saving time happens? We would be finished and it would still be daylight, and then we'll have time to go get something to eat. You know, if you want to go chill with your little chick for a little bit before study hall.
Right.
Dude, after Miles practices, we're rushing to study hall. You don't have time to go get nothing. You can't go holler at nobody. You know? Like, I'm like, Coach Miles, bro.
Come on, man.
Too long. Coach Saban, 2 hard hours.
Yep.
You're going to hit for these. And sometimes he used to start practice over, and we would still be finished before Miles.
Bro, our practice used to be so long. One time I hallucinated, bro. I thought I saw a donkey on a horse going across the 50-yard line.
A donkey on a horse?
On a horse.
God.
That's how long
boy.
his practices used to be.
Too long, bro. Used to be too. And then Shelly, boy, bless Shelly, bro. That's my girl right there.
Yeah, man.
This was Coach Miles' first year there, right? Katrina hit. We was like, it's all this devastation going on around us, like players trying to go volunteer and help people. Coach Miles, and Shelly said, and I think it's just absolutely stupid that we're out here practicing this long. And I'm like, Shelly, you know, Coach Miles standing right there. You just gonna like kind of. Yeah, man, boy, I love LSU still to this day. That's why look, we had some good time. Let me tell y'all about this dude here. Right?
Tell us about it.
Wait. Before you.
No.
I'm gonna get you. Go ahead.
Evergreen. We evergreen. Let's go.
I got some evergreen for you. Go ahead, Derek.
Hey, before you say anything now, think about what you're going to say before you actually say it. You know what I'm saying? Think about what you say before you actually say it. Remember the introduction I gave you? Don't make me renege.
We playing against Florida. It's 2006. Bruh. Derry yelling, hey, Fave, move. You're in the wrong gap. I didn't move one bit. Fave, move. I finally heard him. So right when I was moving, he hits me. Like right from here, he went, boom, move. All you see on film is me flying the correct gap. I'm like, Derek. Dog, that dude is like that dude was that's a middle linebacker right there.
Yeah.
Hey, you tell people all the time like I'm the nicest guy off the field, but was I mean on the field, Fave?
Dog, you was mean on the field, dog. I'm telling
to you, like for us calling plays and stuff.
Yeah, because I'm trying to because you know he had them braces for a little minute now. So, I can't even hear what you're saying. Hey. Bro, but let me tell you something. Most linebackers don't cover the fastest guy in the receiving corps. I remember the game plan we had for Florida. He had to stick Percy Hall in the
Boy, hey, I ought to slap Pelini for that, bro.
I never forget that.
Hey, look.
I never forget that.
Man, look, he had me. So we had cover 3. It was called a Palms defense. And so what they did was to get a mismatch. They aligned the number 3 up. The best receiver. So I had the number 3 receiver.
Right.
Most teams that we ran palms against, the 3rd receiver would be like a decoy.
Never getting the ball.
But not this game.
Right.
When I saw Percy line up at that number 3 spot, I said, Lord Jesus, Shama. Hey. And the thing about it, he was running. No, he wasn't running just go routes.
Right.
He was running option routes.
Yeah.
He was running out and ups all game long.
Right.
And so it's bad when your safety, All-American safety and Craig Stelz, all SEC safety and Curtis Taylor looking at me, and we can't guard him. I'm thinking, like, no,
Percy was something else, bro.
Percy, I'm like, and so I'm looking at Pelini.
Yeah, for real.
I'm looking at Pelini and said, we're going to change. So on halftime, I said, he going to change it.
Right.
He ain't changed it. He ain't changed nothing.
He never changed it, bro.
The whole game.
He had so much confidence in me. Now, don't get me wrong. He caught a few passes on. I held my own.
Right.
But I was this is when I never was, I won't say I was scared, but I was nervous.
Yeah.
And this is why I was nervous. At the end of the game, when they were driving to possibly win the game, they lined him up in the slot again. Percy was running so hard, y'all. I kid you not. I said, Tebow, if Tebow throw this ball, now I got him covered. Don't get it twisted now. Hey, y'all listen. Hey,
he looked in the camera. Look at the camera,
Hey, don't get it twisted now. Your boy had them burning. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
You held your ground,
All
bro.
I'm saying is, I wasn't. If the ball was in the air, I didn't have the defensive back skills to maybe play the ball.
Right.
But I was hip to hip now. Don't get it. I'm gonna say it one more time. Do not get it twisted.
I love it.
So, but like that was a game I can remember, and thank God Tebow didn't throw the ball because I mean I could have panicked. I could have had a pass interference.
Right.
But I was on him hip to hip though.
Right.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
That's what's up, man.
That's dope, man.
But so like you were saying, man, like Coach Miles allowed y'all to expand outside of football, right? And pursue interests outside of football with the introduction of NIL, which shouldn't never been an introduction. Your name, your image, and your likeness is something that God gave you. You know what I'm saying? But I if you want to get into that, I'll let you get. I already put out my piece on that on another podcast. So, what do you foresee as some of the positives and the negatives of what NIL being introduced to today's NCAA?
Shoot, and I want to know what you think. Like what would have happened if NIL was while you was in school? What kind of how you'd have benefited
You know,
off
I
of
was
that?
about to lead with that, right? You know that was about to be the negative, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna lead with that. DM, bro, you on point with me, bro. First, the negative is I'm so drove that all that money was left on the table for your boy.
Yeah.
I was sitting there telling y'all I was doing shows.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was rapping.
Yeah.
I was
For free.
opening up. We had music. They had to put on the back of these CDs. Marlon Favorite showed up courtesy of Black Venom.
Oh wow.
Showed up courtesy and
Wow.
is not receiving any royalties off of this stuff.
To keep you eligible.
Yes, to keep me eligible to have any NCAA issues. Yes, we're selling this CD, but he's not making any money.
Off of your raps,
and-
your raps, your
Your
bars.
talent.
Look, he's like, wink.
Your talent, your time.
Hey, look. The thing about it,
Come in my eye, man.
yeah, I'm on the fence, but like we're paying to get into the varsity. At that time, the varsity was
Yeah, probably, yeah,
popping.
right.
So we're paying in the varsity to go watch it perform, but he can't.
He can't get no
collect.
money.
get nothing.
Again, I'm gonna wink.
He can't get no
couldn't
money off of it.
collect.
Because think about it, it was nothing. If it was a such thing called under the table, it ain't why I got to spend anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all can't. We got these jerseys and all that. So, because of my personality, I would have made bread because I don't mind going sign autographs.
Yep.
How they said, shake hands and kiss
Babies, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
dropping music,
Right.
appearances. Like I was one of the players that we trained. His godfather is Mel. Mel and Turk from Trill Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the phone with Mel. I'm like, Mel, you hear about this NIL stuff, bro? I was all kind of dropping his music and this and that, whoop doing that. He said, shoot, I'd have paid you to make a couple appearances then.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me I could have been getting this Boosie and Webby money? Come on, man. It's crazy. Them dudes the hottest thing in VR at the time, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the negative, y'all, is I'm kind of upset that me and Derry wasn't able to take advantage of this, but technically we can because hey, we're still former college players. But
Yeah.
Right.
the positives, right? What a negative. I stick to negatives a little more. I want more negatives. All NILs won't be created equal.
No.
You know?
No.
So if you're not a starter or some type of heavy rotational player that's making plays, you like right now, Derek Stingley probably knocking on $1 million right now in endorsements.
Wow.
The third string corner not. So I think because right now it's no rules, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Wild West.
open season.
Right.
It's Wild West. But I think when they do bring in the rules, it should be something where every player should be able to take advantage and get something, some type of royalties, whether it's signing autographs, taking pictures. You may not be the fastest and the most athletic on the field, but you probably, got a sexy body like me and can probably model for polo and make money off of it. You know
There
what I'm
you go.
saying? Because it's so many opportunities right now for these young men and women in college football, and college sports in general. So I'm excited about it. The positive is, and here's the positive. The first half of this pod, we was talking about financial stress and NFL. I wouldn't have had no financial stress. I would have had CDs put up and
Right.
individual retirement accounts and
Yeah.
all this stuff. So the transition, even while I'm bouncing around to these teams, I wouldn't be stressing financially because we made a little bag.
Made some bag in college. Right.
Right.
And I was thinking, we've been talking about NIL like since it happened, and I was thinking about how many players could do that and won't have to stress or flip over backwards about going to the league. You know what I'm saying? You still want to get that big bag, of course, you know what I'm saying? But if you still have options to do other things, you know what I'm saying? And to think about other things, you know what I'm saying? And not be stressed out about trying to hurry up and get to the league or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I think this will help the process. It'll take a little popularity from the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And give the NCAA a little more popularity. It balances it out because now the process gets pushed up.
Yep.
Yeah. My son.
Yeah.
I told him, not out to he's number one punter in the state.
Yeah.
He's getting his shine on that receiver right now.
Wow, this was up.
So he might get a scholarship. Let's say, for instance, he get a scholarship to LSU.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
He's in the bag. Like, as soon as you get there, you're in the bag.
You in
right?
the bag.
Right.
True.
Right.
So
you in the bag.
that's something. So I say all that to say, high school kids are going to have to start hiring agents.
Yeah.
Yep.
You saw Arch Manning already before going to senior.
Yep.
So that's a done deal. That's all NIL related.
Absolutely.
So the process gets started earlier. Guys can get in, and like I said, it really teaches them to be young entrepreneurs early.
Yeah.
It teaches them, give them that entrepreneurial spirit early.
I love it.
And now you could, because think about this, Derek. Imagine this. You remember them hot training camp practices?
Mm-hmm.
And we have to sit out there in our uniform still, hottest bacon grease out there, signing autographs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We get paid for that now.
Yeah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's all this stuff. We did a lot of sacrificing on the front end, to take advantage of this. So I only think now this gets better.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL going to still be a big deal, but at least, players can give you an example. My arena coach, my coach Doug. Coach Doug was like, man, back then we was getting bread in the arena, man. We was making, guys had 3-4-4-year contracts, getting paid $300-400K a year in the arena. That was unheard of when I played. The league was just bouncing back. We was getting pennies on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, man, teams was calling me and we was turning them down.
Sheesh.
So NFL teams calling him to come try out OTA stuff. He like, I'm straight. We in arena football season right now. I'm making some good bread.
Right.
So it was different than they saying, hey, back then for the voodoo,
Right.
Tom Benson on the voodoo. So everything the Vince had, the voodoo had.
Right.
They ate at the same place, practice at the same place. So I think that's going to be a unique piece coming out of college. Top dogs being able to have a whole lot of money and don't have to worry about, if I don't make this team.
And negotiations are even different. It makes negotiation different.
Right, it does.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't have to take what they're giving you, you know what I'm saying, that conversation is a little different. It made me laugh. My brother used to make me laugh. He said, Eric Dickerson always used to say, man, when I went to the NFL, I took a pay cut.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
From the SMU days, boy.
Man.
SMU used to walk in the locker room and cut them checks, man. They used to cut the check in the locker room.
Hey, man. But I think it's great. So I got a question for you, and we jump to different subjects. So now what is Texas and Oklahoma coming over to the SEC,
new look
right?
SEC.
Mm-hmm. The new look SEC. What's your thoughts on that, man?
The new SEC West.
Is that, and it's the what the thing we were talking about?
The Pac-12, Big Ten, ACC.
All them talking about coming together, man, and just like what you been thinking about that, man? We've been kind of talking about it a little bit and trying to see how it's going to change the landscape of things.
Well, the next 5 years, I think when we see Texas A&M got to split that pot now. Just think about it like this.
Boy, they hot. I know they got to be hot about that.
That's why they're the ones the most upset.
They got to be hot.
They hot. If you bring Texas in, think about Texas is big. It's
the biggest school in Texas.
It's Texas, right?
What other SEC schools in Texas?
Texas A&M. That's it.
So Texas A&M get all of that support.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Every SEC supporter in Texas dump all their money into that program.
And
but
now
that pie gets split.
I don't even know if it's gonna be split evenly.
Yo, and
It's not.
And that Austin connection, Austin between down here is growing. It's growing. Like people are going back and forth from here in Austin,
Right.
like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, man, that's
And all
wild, man.
that's together. Like, my sister lives in Dallas, so I go out there very often. When we want to go to the casino, she stay off 75 North. I take a 20-minute ride to Oklahoma.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Box
Yep.
Yeah.
and all that. And
that
now,
money, all
now
that money.
recruiting gets more difficult.
Now recruiting
Right?
gets a lot more
Sure
difficult
does.
because now do you lose that Houston pipeline? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? With players out of Houston that usually will come to Alabama or come to LSU and it, they wanted to look, I know this on anybody that we might have that live out there, but I've been to College Station. Whew. If you ain't going out there to play the sport, ain't nothing else going on, brother.
And Austin is jumping.
And I know Austin jumping.
Jumping.
So now I got a SEC option at the school that everybody know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that even forces the second thing we were talking about with the alliance. They're trying to make it forces them. They got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Big 12 about to fold. If you don't, Big 12 gonna fold. I mean, ain't nobody who left. Cut the lights off.
That's true. and this the next thing too to that point. So it's two things that we could take from this. One thing is I think now Alabama gets moved to the East.
Yep.
So now they're gonna have to compete every year with
Florida.
Georgia, Florida, Kentucky rolling. They're saying Kentucky like the second best and not the best team in the East right now.
Sheesh.
So
they're gonna have to compete with them. And then what ends up happening, you made a good point, Dante, about basically the Big 12 being cannibalized. NCAA gonna get very familiar with the NFL because what's gonna end up happening is the money, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna see the great divide. I think now we're gonna get, how you got the NFC and the AFC.
Yeah, there it is.
that's what it's gonna be.
Just be SEC,
Two big
NAC.
conferences.
Yep.
Two
Because
big
think
conferences.
about it, right? And think about the NIA. Okay, LSU come sit down and talk to my son, and then let's say Florida State try to sit down and come talk to my son, right?
What conference you want?
Florida State gonna go in their bag, right?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
But then LSU gonna go in their bag.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
With an even bigger wallet.
Right.
So what Florida State saying, hey, we can get you with this car wash. They'll sign a little 3-year deal with you, get you $50,000. LSU can say, I'm gonna get you with Raising Cane's, and we're gonna guarantee you $100,000.
Right.
What'd you say, Doug Rose?
Boy, look, Rose, hey, Glenn, you saw Glenn was like, man, Glenn had that Rose burger. Hey, come get your shrimp burger, mega burger for you, mega burger for you, mega burger for everybody. It's all in my rules, boy.
So
That's what this turns into. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. I love it. I love it.
So and what I'm looking at is, I coach track. Like that's my background, right? So I'm looking at this from a track background. I'm like, yo, this about to get ridiculous in other sports, not just football. It's about to get basketball, man. Man, you take Texas and Texas A&M. No, I mean Texas A&M already in the league. When you take Texas and Oklahoma, I mean you looking at what's old boy named? I call him Trey DeBoers, man. But what's his real name for Atlanta? He played for Atlanta. Trey Young. So
Trey
Trey,
DeBoers.
you looking at Trey? So you looking at Trey Young. You know what I'm saying? You look at Trey Young out of, that would have been in the SEC had this move been made earlier. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you looking at all these type of cats that's going to be competing for the SEC just the SEC championship. Forget the national championship. Forget the tournament. So the caliber of talent that's about to be on another level once this is solidified and done. And the actual schedule start coming out.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
it, y'all. Yeah.
I'm here for it. Let me ask you one more question since we done went everywhere. What you thinking? I was asking them guys about some of these NFL quarterback competitions that we got. We got about 4 or 5 of them going on. You know what I'm saying? You got, right here hometown, we got Jameis and
Taysom.
You know what I'm saying? But then you talking about Justin Fields out in Chicago, and they talking about him and Andy Dalton. I think. You talking about Garoppolo and
Trey Lance.
You know what I'm saying? What you thinking about it? And you got any of them, any favorites you're looking at? You know, quarterbacks you thinking, or any new guys coming in you think gonna really hit it off from jump, or what's your thoughts on this upcoming season?
I think I'll start here in New Orleans. Watching this first preseason game, Jameis is the starter. I mean, it's not even close if you ask me. Taysom got in there. I get it. You know, he's Taysom Hill.
Right.
And he's going to get the job done. He goes out. He earns a start.
Yeah,
right? And I pay attention to the drives. That interception could have been his fault. Nah, it couldn't have been. You know.
Right. Right.
He had a couple fumbles on his drive. It wasn't on him. You know. He didn't score.
This is the most confusing thing about that situation to me is that everyone's treating him like he's a rookie. Like, yo, he went to BYU. Like, dude is already up there in age. You know what I'm saying? He's older than Jameis. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, I'll stop you when you're lying.
I'm trying to. I've been trying to. I mean, I know what it is, but I'm like, yo, this dude ain't no spring chicken. Like he's not a young. He's not second round draft pick and fresh out of a 4-year college. Like he went on a mission and he came back when he was 26, and then he played, and then he came to the league.
Right.
But see, the only reason this is a competition is because they're going off perception.
Yeah,
that's one thing I can't stand about the NFL. They go off perception,
man,
and so they're going off perception from Jameis Winston. Right. And one thing, and Fav, you can talk about this too, is even though Jameis threw 30 interceptions, he also had 30 touchdowns and threw for almost 5,000 yards. And so now Jameis has matured, and you know this, being in a professional setting, we've all been in a professional setting. You mature as a man.
Absolutely.
And so Jameis Winston is maturing as a man. And the other day, I don't like how the reporter came at him about asking him, why did you change the way that you talk in your interviews? Because now, it's actually a little more deeper than it really is.
Oh, that's real deep. That's real deep.
No. That's another podcast.
No, you're the Jameis who said if we strong, we strong. Then. You're the Jameis who had crab legs. You're the Jameis standing on top of tables and shouting lewd and crazy things. We want that Jameis. We don't want this refined, high character Jameis. No, we want that old Jameis. But no. Old is out, new is in, and they can't stand that. And so perception is what's causing this quarterback battle, because we all know the best chance for them to succeed is to have James at quarterback, especially if you don't know when
Mike Thomas
is going to be back.
All right, and I hope he does well. I hope he does great. For the sake of all that, I hope he does a great job. You know what I'm saying? So just in their face.
Yeah.
In their face with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, because I know you're going to the next one. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and I'll go to the next one, but I had Patrick Peterson on the podcast last year. This was in April. And I was asking him about quarterbacks. I was like, man, who was the tougher quarterbacks you win against? He didn't mention Tom Brady. He didn't mention Drew Brees, any of those guys. He said Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
Wow.
And I was like, huh? He's like, dog, Jameis is a dog. And he said, my boy going to be even better now that he had his LASIK surgery.
Wow.
Now, he had this surgery going into with the Saints.
Because I remember he was squinting all the time. Yeah, and he was declining about that. Yeah.
He was throwing to blurry people. And crazy. Still making those passes.
And threw 5,000 yards.
You only seen Jameis throw once.
Boy,
and when he got in there and threw that one time in the Saints game last year, it was a touchdown. In the playoffs.
Right.
Boy, you just made me think. Boy, this about to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's about to be crazy. Dog. And I'm going to make you think even more before we go to the next quarterback battles. Heisman Trophy winner.
Straight up.
National
champion.
Winner.
Can't take it from him.
First round draft pick, first pick overall.
Yep.
Started in the NFL 6 years.
Yep.
Taysom Hill, like you said, a project. Now, here's the thing about Taysom. I like Taysom, but I like Taysom for Taysom.
I like him for what he does. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah,
he has Alvin Kamara type value to the Saints.
Absolutely,
I got that.
Absolutely. They paid him like it too.
You gotta respect him.
Yep.
When he's on the field, you gotta respect him. He could go to the slot. He could go at the H-back. He could go at the power quarterback. That when he comes in the game, you got Jameis out there. The defense got to get right.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
He runs down on special teams, create plays on special teams as well.
Right.
Yeah.
This is true. This
If,
is
if it's not broke, don't try to fix
don't
it.
try to
let
fix
him
I
do
didn't
what he
fix it
do.
last year.
This is what he do. Right. Right.
This is what he do. Last year, we're going to go with him as a starter because Jameis isn't ready yet and Drew is hurt. Go figure, right? That we just seen that story twice, right? But check this out. I pay attention to all little stuff with the NFL. Every little thing, just the more you, like you said, we're in our element. We broadcasting, so I'm gonna look at little stuff like that I can talk about.
Right.
The Denver Bronco game last year told me everything I needed to know.
Yep.
Wow.
That quarterback room, everybody caught coronavirus.
Yep. Yep.
And had to quarantine.
Yep.
The Denver Broncos tried to activate the quality control coach.
Yeah.
The NFL said no.
Yeah.
They tried to activate a coach. They was in search for a quarterback.
That bad.
Because of that, they about to play the Saints,
Wow.
and all of their quarterbacks have to quarantine.
Wow. They had to put the wide receiver back there, huh?
They started a wide receiver who ain't played quarterback since like his first year in college. Or high school.
Yeah.
Bro.
And Taysom Hill badly beat that team.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. See. What
That's
we
what I'm
talking
saying,
about?
man. That's what I'm
What we
saying.
talking about?
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
You lose to Philly,
And-
a terrible Philly.
Yeah.
Yep. This is
Drew
true.
Brees comes back, yada, yada. Now it's a quarterback battle. It sounds like a narrative to me.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Stories. Y'all want me to come write y'all stories? Y'all
Right.
need me to help y'all tell a better story? This ain't a battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we get the preseason game, and we see the offensive line responded better to Jameis. To Jameis.
Absolutely.
The control of the. Because this is the thing. Taysom kind of probably went, hey, yeah. Jameis was like, all right, y'all, look, this is how we about to do it. Whoop, whoop. Why? Because he started 6 years in the NFL.
He a quarterback.
You know what it
You know what it
is.
is.
You know what
Y'all
it
know what it
is.
is. Thank
You know what it is.
San Francisco. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo has a lot of value.
Yes.
He does. He did lead his team to the Super Bowl. Lost to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
True. Okay.
No, Trey Lance, something else. Now I don't know. I'm scared of all these new quarterbacks,
Bro,
bro.
these new breeds, bro. These new breeds, something else, boy.
It's something else.
It ain't just.
Look at Josh Allen.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's a bad man.
right? It used to be like you'll see a Michael Vick, you'll see a Vince Young, but that's like once in a 5 year, once a 7 year quarterback. Man, they popping these cats out. You got Mahomes, you got even before then, yeah, you got Rodgers, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Mahomes, now you got Trey Lance, Jalen Hurts, dog. All these cats coming out looking like running backs, bro, and they could fling that thing.
Right. So, all right. What you
Maybe
think?
a 1 year development with Trey Young. Trey Lance. I do think San Francisco drafted him in the first round that high. He's going to play.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it this year or next year? Do they need another year for him? Is it a Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes type transition?
Yeah.
That's what we have to pay attention to that.
Right.
In Chicago, look, bro, it's easy. Andy Dalton's not a starting quarterback.
No, he's not.
No more,
That's over with.
he's not,
No,
dog.
he's not.
That's over with.
Justin
not.
Fields looks spectacular out
He
there.
does. He does.
So I give him week 2, week 4.
Yep.
What you say about Cam? What you say about Cam and Mac? I think it's Cam and Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam and Mac, mac and cheese, cheese and mac. Cam still got something in him, bro.
Yeah,
I think so, too.
And I didn't see enough of Mac Jones to think that I would start him. I just didn't.
I
see
like
it.
him though. I like
Yep.
Mac Jones. I
Yep.
do think. I think next year, I think he's a starting quarterback. I think they're gonna use this year for him to develop under Cam.
I think it's Cam on 1 year right now, right? It's a 1
Yeah,
year.
he on a 1 year.
It's a
So they
1
got a
year.
plan.
Yeah,
They got a plan.
They drafted their next quarterback.
Yeah,
Bill and Coach Saban are good friends. They know that boy's developed. He's younger than Cam.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam gonna come out fighting, bro, because he know he's fighting to
Fight
for
for
his
his
job.
life. Yeah, right.
again. Yeah.
And my thing is with Cam, man, like thing is people don't remember, like Cam came out balling last year, but then he had corona,
Yeah.
and like so we dealing with something like coronavirus and ain't nobody ever dealt with on the
Right,
history
right.
on the history of the planet,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you don't know how that affected him afterwards, because you can see in a lot of players like not Myles Garrett, man, Denver Broncos, defensive end, man. Like he caught it. He
Von-
ended up,
Von, huh?
yeah, Von Miller.
Von
yeah.
Miller, yeah.
So he ended up getting there. Now, unfortunately, he tore his, I believe, tore his Achilles before the season started. But he was like, man, like, yo, this is different. Like, like he in the mile high, he living in Denver, and he's like, man, it's.
Let me say
It's a
something.
different animal like that you got to deal with. You don't know how you coming back from that. Hell, Chris Paul just had the same thing in the finals for the NBA, and he ain't looked the same when he came back.
They're talking about Dennis Schroeder when he came back. Y'all just told me, I dealt with COVID not too long ago.
Right.
And when they say getting right is different, like after, like you be healthy, but getting right is different. Like the fatigue afterwards. You gotta get right. And I'm walking around, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not.
Yeah.
But to have to play a high level of athletics, no matter what sport it is, I can see now I understand why when Cam comes back, we out here, we think it's a video game.
Yeah.
So we out here doing like
Yeah, he
this.
back to 99.
Yeah, we back. He back. If he on the field, he ready to go. But I can see why it's hard to get back in that rhythm, just because it'll kind of take a little bit out you. So I get it. I get the whole process.
And Cam is a momentum guy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He feeds off of momentum.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
feeds off of
Straight up.
being doing something for a protracted period of time. He can't sit still, because now if he sits still, he has to regather his thoughts. He has to regain that confidence.
Absolutely. So I got one more question. You got to pick this year. Who you think? Anybody you think you gonna take it all, or you ain't seen enough yet for the NFL?
I want to see a little more. I do, but I ain't gonna lie. What we just saw is very convincing. Like Kansas City, they're gonna be Kansas City. It's a track team over there.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You know.
Right.
I think Russ do one. I think Russ probably give us a little something. So the NFC West is just. It's so all over the place, you know. I don't really have a one yet. If I were to pick a one, I mean, you can't go against Patrick Mahomes right now.
Right. I feel
Yeah.
that.
You just can't.
Especially
It's
after
too
losing
much.
last year, he got it on his mind. Right.
Unless they make a big dip defensively,
Yeah.
you're not about to. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I mean, we talking about Patrick, but it's absolutely crazy to me that Brady did that last year still.
And you can't count that boy out as long as he playing.
You can't count him out,
You can't
dog.
count that boy as long as he
You
playing.
know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting
And they signed everybody back too, so
it's getting
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's tough to. They got running backs. They got
got
receivers.
defense.
Plural. Heck of plural.
Yeah, them boys got confidence now, boy coming out that ring, boy. So
They got two tight ends. You got
Right.
O.J. Howard.
O.J. Howard and Gronk.
Yeah, they gonna be nasty.
You got Antonio Brown. You got
you got-
Mike Evans.
Yep,
You
yep.
got Goodwin coming back.
Fournette coming back.
You got Leonard Fournette. You
Devin
got
White on defense.
Devin White on defense. That whole defense is sick.
Tyron
Yeah.
still there.
know?
Ain't Tyron?
Yeah.
Dominican Sue.
No, Tyron.
No.
At
He was
Kansas
cheap.
City.
Yeah.
Dominican Sue on the line.
Yeah.
Levante David.
Levante David on the
Monte Davis.
Yeah, bro.
They too stacked, y'all. It's
Might be a repeat. Huh?
now there's a couple teams that don't sleep on Buffalo.
Yep.
Buffalo's
Yep.
very close last year.
Yep, true.
I think they can ruffle some feathers.
Yeah.
Now, a team I'm excited to watch this year, I'm going to try not to miss a game because, they're like a little bro right here.
Yeah.
See the Bengals?
Yeah, man. Burrow.
I'm on them this year, dog.
Yeah.
That's true.
Jamar Chase, he from the hood, too.
You're
From
right.
where?
Jamal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And another sleeper. Nobody's talking about this guy now, and if they let him loose, it's over. See Puka Williams?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah, man.
Him and Jamar Chase, they're on the same team right now?
Hey, man.
I had you know how you do the little picture thing on when you comment on a picture?
Yeah, on comment, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I commented on. I said, man, Puka and Jamar Chase, this is about to be legendary.
Yeah.
And I said, how y'all done? Jay like, yeah, it's about to be real.
I'm ready to
Yeah,
watch it, man.
Those are two guys. You can get the ball. You can just hand them the ball right there and
Get
they
out
can
the way,
make it
man.
happen.
Get out the way. Look, man, I saw Puka in high school, man. Playing against Acadiana. And double or triple overtime to go to the dome. Man, look. Coach called timeout, man, and coach didn't say nothing. Puka running the huddle. You know what I'm saying? They come back out there, direct snap to him. Puka went left. Acadiana was there. Puka took that thing all the way back to the right jumped in, diving in the end zone on the pylon, and I'm like, yo, and like, if you from this area, you know anything about the KDN or Wrecking Rams, they bring that heat consistently. So for him to outrun them and to do what he did on that level, and then what he did at Kansas, I'm excited to see what he's gonna do out there too, man.
Yep.
Hey, it's gonna be a fire year, man. Hey, we don't look, bro. You got to come back again, bro.
Yeah,
You got to come back again, man. I enjoyed this. This is a wonderful interview, bro. Just hearing about your life, man. Hearing about everything, and just we are going to do this again, bro. We appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you coming through. And as the season starts, a football season, college and NFL, we'll come back and we'll talk some more, man, and get it going.
Yeah.
man, go ahead and plug your podcast, plug the music, man, and the 19 other things you got going on, bro. Go ahead and handle
Yeah,
it.
man, plug
One
away,
time for the
man.
Jamaicans, huh? Nah, T-Bob kind of gave me a little insight of where I'm at. We call me the Renaissance man, bro. I
That's
had to
it. That's where
accept
we at.
it,
Yeah, go for it,
That's where
man.
we at, man. That's
Yep.
where we at.
So
Well, y'all make sure y'all-
where can we find you, man?
Y'all follow me at BigFave504
Yep.
on all social network platforms. Y'all can also check out the Inside the Trenches podcast on Podbean, Apple Pod, wherever you do your podcast at. Television, you can check me out at BR Proud out there. I come on Fox 33 out there every Friday. Also locally here in New Orleans, WWL Great Day, Louisiana. So I'll be doing a little bit of that. LSU Sports Network, baby. We got to keep that thing going with LSU.
Yep.
And I'll keep y'all posted on everything else. Y'all make sure y'all go get Gorilla too, baby.
Yeah.
Gorilla Gear.
Yes, sir.
Get GorillaGear.com. Y'all get y'all gear.
Yep.
And last but certainly not least, From Balling to Broadcasting is dropping this football season.
Let's go, baby.
go,
Let's
man.
go.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go, man.
And look, I got a little something for y'all. I'm going to send y'all to Hello Somebody. I'm going to text it to you, Derry. Releases on
All right.
Friday, the second single off of that. Hello Somebody.
Perfect.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Appreciate you,
Thank
man.
y'all, bro.
Hey, if you got an instrumental, send it this way too, man. We'll pub that on here, man, and use it for some of our background music, bro.
I hear y'all spitting over there.
Hey, we doing a little something, man. Man, we appreciate you, bro. We'll do it again, man. This has been the Evergreen Podcast. I was say fight. Like, follow, subscribe. What they got to do, Doug? Look at the camera. Tell them what they got to do, bro.
Go to the Evergreen Pod. I think it's like underscore. Just hit
Yeah.
the follow button and
Evergreen
subscribe to
_pod,
the
yeah.
YouTube channel, the Evergreen Pod.
It's
It takes
easy.
you
It's
30
free.
seconds
It's free.
to subscribe. So subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Get on them, Doug.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
There it is. That
Before I
line.
tear and take everybody in here.
That's what I'm talking about right there, baby. Let's go. This has been the Evergreen Pod. Appreciate y'all. Y'all follow, like, subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, YouTube. We're everywhere. And we out of here, man. It's been a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right, we out.
All right, Big Fave.
We out.
Hey, fellas.